June 14th this evening. We've got some interesting stuff going on tonight. To start, if you please all join us in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, Janine is going to introduce, and I just have to say up front that I have a promise that I will not cry tonight, as I want to do when we talk about things like calculus and robotics. So,
and your tears of joy.
Tears of joy. So I try not to get emotional. I don't know if you can.
Saw you get emotional at graduation last week. So tonight we are pleased to welcome students from Glencoe High School's first robotics competition, FRC, Team 4488 Shockwave. FIRST is a nonprofit organization that inspires young people's interest in science and technology. Glencoe's world-class team had another successful season both locally and nationally, with numerous wins that earned the team a spot at the first Robotics World Championship in St. Louis in late April, where the team persevered through quarterfinals, earning awards in every tournament, including trophies for industrial design, innovation and controls, overall quality, and the Pit Safety Award. Shockwave is ranked in the top 2% among 3,000 robots worldwide. The 2016 team is comprised of 36 students and 15 mentors. 10 parent volunteers also contributed by building competition field elements and organizing the team's apparel, food, and travel. Team Shockwave is very grateful for the district's support for after-school STEM programs, a significant factor in their engineering success. Please join me in welcoming members of Team Shockwave.
Hello, my name is Bronwyn Grover and I am from Team Shockwave 4488. We were an FRC team that was started in 2012 by our team mentors Christopher Steiner and Willie Antinka. As of this year, we were a team of 37 students and we are very proud of what we were able to accomplish. In the Tesla division at the first World Championship, where we competed against teams from all over the world, we were the fifth highest ranked alliance captain in our division, so we are very, very proud about that. Some other awards that we got was the Industrial Design Award and the Pit Safety. So besides what we do at our competition, we are very proud of the way we include girls in our team. A way we do this is by participating in off-seasons events, such as the Girls' Generation. Now this is an event that is held by another local FRC team, where girls are given the chance to operate and control the robot completely by themselves. So we've been at this event for the past 4 years, and every year that we've gone, we have won. So we are incredibly proud of what our girls are able to accomplish by themselves. Another way we're able to include girls, not just on our team, but in our school, is by offering a Portland Community College course over the summer. It is for 2 weeks, and it deals with machining and mechanical work, so we encourage everyone to try that out. Another way we try to help our community is by building local business and local business partnerships, one of them being ASML, Lamb Research, the Hillsboro Optimist Committee. And by doing this, we are able to kind of give back to our community what they have given to us. And another way we do this is through our outreach activities, one of them being the Artisaur. I'm sure some of you have seen this around. It is a 6-foot-tall robotic dinosaur that spreads the word of STEAM, STEAM standing for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math. It's to help kind of include kids who did not know that robotics was a choice for them. I think it is really great. It's currently right now at the Hillsboro Tuesday Market during the Superhero Themed Week, which I think is awesome. Another type of outreach activity that we do is this year we did a summer camp at Out of This World Pizza and Play, where we went to a bunch of little kids in the community from the ages of 5 to 10, and we offered up a 1-week lawn camp where they could come in, build a Lego robot. They were given a challenge to complete every single day, as well as compete in their own competition at the end of the week. Another way we help in the FIRST community is we go and we peer mentor at our local elementary and middle schools, with their first Lego League and their first technical challenge teams. We love doing this because it helps get kids integrated first from a younger age. And we know that we would not be able to do these things without the financial and moral support from our school board. I'd like to specifically thank Sandy Grinnell for her help in organizing the coaching program that we have after school, and we really do love this partnership. We have done so much with it, and we hope to do even more with it in the future years. Thank you. And so now, if you're okay with this, we'd like to demonstrate our robot and throw some balls around.
Absolutely.
Here. And if any of you guys want to come up and catch the ball yourself, feel free. We'd love to do that.
If you don't, it's going to be
Serious?
Yeah.
Travis.
Travis. Oh, Travis. Go, Travis.
Do I have to get in there?
Okay, just stand here and catch the ball.
You have to ride it.
Yeah, you can just roll back in.
Anybody else?
That's pretty cool.
Janine, you're on.
All right, ready.
I'll back you up.
Okay, all right. Okay, Miss Travis.
It's like it looks
Oh yeah, just
I know.
have a little wave.
So how does the competition work? Do you have, is it a time thing or is it a target? What is what's
So
the
it's
goal?
actually both. We had a time limit of,
2.5 minutes.
so we had 2.5 minutes, and this year, what it was medieval theme. It was called, actually, you know what? I'm gonna have you guys take this one.
So essentially how the competition works is that every year we are given a new challenge or a game in January, and then we have 6 weeks to design and build the robot, and then we go to various local and worldwide competitions. And in this game, it's almost always 2 teams of three robots each. And so initially we play qualification matches where all the alliances are randomly generated, and based on that, the robots are ranked, and then at the end of that, the top 8 teams get to pick 2 other robots to be on their alliance to compete in the eliminations, and then it's essentially best 2 out of 3 quarters and semifinals, and then finals to determine the winner of the event.
What's the nature of the event this year?
So,
Balls on the field, targets.
yeah, so this year had a medieval theme. So there was a tower on either end of the field. You saw the gray ball that we had in the robot. There were 18 of those on the field at once, and your goal was to take them to the other side of the field and put them into either the high goals, about 7 feet off the ground, or the low goals that were facing the tower. To get in the way, though, there was a series of defenses that you had to cross. This included different sets of rough bumps of metal, a 4x4-inch steel wall, a bar that was set 15 inches off the ground that you had to go under. And for every ball that you took over to the opponent's tower, you had to cross over the defenses at least once. And every match, the opposing alliance got to choose the defenses that they put out in front of you. So in 2.5 minutes, you want to cross as many of the defenses as you can for points and put as many balls into the towers as you can.
How did the nature of the requirements affect your design?
You'll notice the robot is quite short. That was because we designed it to go under the low bar, as it's called. Yeah, see, it does that, and it fits right under. It's great. That was really the hardest design challenge we had, because then we had to pack everything into such a small space.
Is this the best part of your day, working on this? Best part of your day?
Yeah. Definitely put a lot of hours into it this season. From January to about the middle of February, somewhere around 200 hours. 5,000 between all of the students on our team.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of going out and watching them do their work, and they're just a group of students here, a group of students there, a group of students working on their own, and it's great to see. Great.
It's also impressive because not only do you know how to do this, but you're great spokespeople for your club as well. I hear you stand up there and you just fire away. It's very impressive.
Wide range of skills.
Yes.
So can you mention, I haven't know the answer, but can you mention the kind of diversity of positions on your team? You mentioned 37, but there are a surprising variety.
Okay. So our team is 30% girls, but we also have several different subgroups. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly how many students in each subgroup, but we have mechanical, which is then split into a sub-subgroup, I suppose, which is machining. We have electrical, programming, web design, applications, business. It's basically everything that it would take to run an engineering company, but a lot smaller, and it's high school students. So it provides a lot of challenges, but it's a lot of fun to try to figure it out with everyone. So it's one of the best extracurriculars I've ever participated in. So.
Could I have you guys drive the robot maybe here and then kind of stand around it for a picture?
Yeah.
It's like that moment in Jurassic Park when the little thing's like, All right. Get close to the robot that you love. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much.
Look at that. See, look at pros. They turn the other way.
Thanks to the advisors too.
Fantastic. Do we, wonderful, wait. Okay, we will. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. It's an excellent opportunity. Okay. So next up, before we get into our thing, we're going to have an exercise here. Everybody gets to push their button in order. Just to humor me, Eric, would you push your button over there? That is Kim Strelson.
I pressed mine after Eric.
Oh, wait, okay.
Oh, I'm Jim, sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
Eric, push yours.
He did.
Mine seems to be on now. Now I turned it off.
Oh, you're public speaker.
Okay.
Okay, public speaker, Kim, who are you?
They're not in order.
Maybe these guys can help us.
They're labeled.
says on the
No,
back.
they're
Well, not
labeled.
tonight, but we'll figure it out for next year.
Okay.
Next year.
Yeah, they're labeled just
By next year, I mean July. Okay, so they're not in order. Okay, so we have a little bit of an unusual situation going on. We are going to recess, we're officially recessing the board meeting. And with that, the first item of business to be conducted is a budget hearing for 2016-17. This is a final public hearing prior to board adoption of the budget document, which the Budget Committee approved on May 5th. This is a time for public testimony. The board will have an opportunity for questions and comments during the action items portion of the board agenda. Any patron who wishes to speak should complete a board agenda card located on the back table and submit it to the board secretary with regard to the budget hearing. And with that, I will officially declare the opening of our budget hearing to receive any further public testimony that there is on with regards to the budget. Having received no comment cards and seeing no one frantically moving toward a comment card, I will declare the hearing for the public testimony of the hearing of the budget officially closed. And
Quickest meeting we've ever had.
with that, that was a lovely procedural event, but we will, as I said, be voting, doing the final vote for 2016-17 budget. That was a conclusion of our the budget process before the approval in a few minutes. With that, I forget if I actually reconvened our regular session, reconvene the regular session of our board meeting this evening. And with that, I would be looking for an approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as printed.
Second?
Okay, a motion made by Kim and seconded by Eric to approve the agenda as printed. Any comments or questions? Very good. With that, I would ask all those in favor of approval of the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Agenda approved. First up for the meeting is our audience time, for which I will read the standard public statement. Public participation in board meetings is governed by policy BDDH. Patrons may comment on specific agenda items at the beginning of the meeting, or at the discretion of the board chair may be deferred to a time that the board, that the items before the board is stated in the agenda. Comments about non-agenda items will be heard during audience time at the beginning of the regular board meeting. Speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective criticism of school operations and programs that are of concern to them. However, in public session, the board will not hear personal complaints of school personnel, nor against any person connected with the school system. Other channels provide for board consideration and disposition of legitimate complaints involving individuals, including board policy, KL, KLD, public complaints. So with that, we do have one. The person who's requested to speak for the board, and so we call up Tim Carlisle. Please provide your name and address in 3 minutes. I don't know who you are up there. You could be Monty if you push that button.
You know, that can be dangerous.
Humor me, push the button.
He really wants you to push the
I
button.
want you to push the button.
For once, somebody wants you to push the button.
Is this my 3 minutes?
No, I'll start the 3 minutes and when I know who's talking.
Okay, is this the little black thing?
The little black box right there?
Okay, I'm pushing.
There's only one button, so. And you're not even connected, so you're nobody.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just having a good time.
Yeah, I got everything up there. Okay, I think the last time I was up here, you didn't know how to run this timer. And Mr. Scott had to, and it was like, as soon as I opened my mouth.
Well, that's the thing I want to tell you is now 2 minutes of your time is
Yeah, I
done.
know. I just wanted to know, okay, I have it all written down, I'm sticking to the script.
Okay.
So, my name is Tim Carlisle. Oh, sorry, I didn't do the script. Okay. Hello, Tim Carlisle, HSD District Teacher Librarian, HSD Resource Distribution Center Administrator, HSD Destiny Library Textbook Resource Management Suite Administrator, in 3 days, private citizen. My address is 6915 Southeast 68th Court, Hillsboro, Oregon 97123. I am 5'11"-ish. If you will, a brief history. Prior to the turn of the century, HSD had 16 highly qualified teacher librarians, and library budgets reflecting a belief that libraries make a difference in student success. We had just started our collaborative efforts to bring HSD libraries boldly into the 21st century by looking at new technologies, the national studies on narrowing the achievement gap, and so on. The teacher librarians were instrumental in preparing our electronic devices for Y2K. However, by 2003, because of budget woes and the infamous 17-day cut, all teacher librarians were returned to classrooms, and the REA2 media systems were left to fend for themselves with no librarians to assist. At a community forum held in Century High School, I donned a shirt much like this one that says I support 027.8.
and explained to the communications officer of the day, Betsy Biller, I would be wearing this reminder until such time that teacher librarians were brought back to the schools. 027.8 is the Dewey classification number for school libraries. When 2007 rolled around, 4 teacher librarians were hired at the high schools, and a consulting teacher librarian was hired to assist in the building process of our 5 new schools. I had already been part of 2 projects, LC Tobias and Witch Hazel, which, by the way, no one ever asked me for any information on what a library should look like. Even though in my training as a librarian, we were taught 21st century library. Over the next 3 school years, the 5 teacher librarians spent many hours collaborating on budgets, a new teacher librarian job description, and encouraging HSD to discuss a 5-year implementation plan for a fully funded library program as determined by Oregon Administrative Rules 342. Beginning of the 2013-14 school year once again found HSD schools teacher librarianless, and I found myself assigned as the district teacher librarian. Today I'm hanging up my spurs. I feel confident that the new media specialist will have great success in pushing through a library budget commensurate with the needs of the schools and finally bring HSD in the 21st century. To the staff, especially upstairs, this is the age of information. Things move at lightning speed, and every day delayed on making a decision is one more day we may miss in making a difference in a child's life. To my colleagues, teachers, licensed and classified, especially you youngins, don't wait until you are my age to speak your truth. I mean your real truth. You will only be happy if you feel you are doing what is right for children. And Mr. Scott, I want to extend my greatest gratitude and admiration for taking the time to truly listen, the willingness to hear and discuss. You have a true heart for people and the management sense of President Theodore Roosevelt. This is all the reports that the librarians have written since 2003. And out of all the superintendents, out of all of my supervisors, you are the only one that has sat down with me and gone through it. And I appreciate that greatly. One more thing, bear with me, this is textbook management. Okay, that was the serious part. Okay, textbook management. Whoever takes over the textbook warehouse, tell them never to just throw these papers away without reading them. Because this is a little answer from the reading book here. 5th grade girl, I don't know who it is, but it is from 2004. And question 3, answer. Well, he was probably surprised that he was spayed by a skunk. Now, where can you find great information like that? Finally, as a friend of mine from Monsters, Inc., Roz, once told me at Disney World, I'm watching, always watching. Thank you.
So Tim, since you've only got a couple days left, let me just publicly say that I appreciate your vision and your passion for this work you've done. This really has been your life's work to promote the cause of libraries and to get information into the hands of kids. And your passion and your persistence around it is truly impressive. I mean, we wouldn't have at least one of the systems in place, 2 that I can think of now, the systems in place if it hadn't been for your persistence and your vision. And I think your latest example of the textbook management system is an example of that. And I know that we're saving lots of money because of the system that you have the vision to employ. So on behalf of all of us and all of the kids that you've impacted over the years, thank you just from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate everything you've done.
That's enough.
All right. Next, we have reports and discussions. We have Adam. to announce budget committee vacancies.
We do have 4 budget committee vacancies at this time. 3 budget committee members whose terms are expiring at the end of June. Chris Berry, Kathy Clark Thomas, and Angie Ellis. And we have a 4th budget committee member, Betsy Julian, who is resigning because she's relocating. So just want to make you aware of that, let you know that we'll be posting those, and I think we come back in October to appoint candidates for those positions. But we'll be.
So these people, the 3 that their terms ending, they're not saying they want to be back, or do we know?
We will be making sure they are welcome back and that they have an application. And
Okay.
if they're willing, we'll certainly include their name.
But they do have to reapply if they want.
They do have to reapply, correct, yeah.
And where will you be advertising?
Where do we advertise that? We advertise in all of our local newspapers, the Argus, the Tribune. Well, it's the Tribune
And then I think we do the hot news, and then this year Beth was talking about coordinating with the city of Hillsboro and getting something in there.
I was hoping, I was going to suggest things like the city summer thing, or I mean, they put out those periodically. Also, I was thinking
She's nodding.
the hot news and the web, the app advertisements.
Yes.
I would also suggest the Hillsboro Leadership Program. A lot of folks go through that program through the Hillsboro Chamber of Commerce, and they look for ways and places that they can get connected into the community, so.
Just had their graduation today, and we got a catalog with all their names.
See?
Also,
Imagine where we could play.
if we're accepting applications into the fall, I think asking each individual school to put it on their website. I think a lot of parents go to that landing spot rather than the district landing spot, so there could be a link.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
We will, I think we'll have the same feedback in just a moment, but why don't we move to our next agenda item for Travis with vacancies for the curriculum committee.
But I'm looking for that same kind of feedback from the board. The CCAC provides citizens the chance to be involved in curriculum and instructional programming in the district and make recommendations to the board. The term of service for our CCAC members is 2 years, and they're staggered so that half of the members term out each year. The board identifies vacant positions now in June, and will take applications during the months of July and August and recruit and advertise. Then in August, the board will review the names of the people applying and who served previously and want to be reappointed. And then during the regular session in September, the board will appoint new members to the vacant positions for the CCAC. And we'll start again with CCAC meetings on October 3rd. In 2014, the board agreed that the number of adult members served on the committee should be 14, and that we should allow for student advisors on the CCAC as well for the recommendation of the committee itself. And the terms of 6 members of the committee, including 3 students, are going to expire on June 30, and there are 4 additional vacancies as a result of 2 resignations and 2 positions that remained open during the year. So there's a total of 10 openings for the board to consider new applicants in August. And I just wanted to give you an update that in last year, per the recommendation of the board and the Citizens Curriculum Committee, we started actively trying to make the committee more representative of the students that we serve. And we did, the committee asked to do a census of themselves in terms of the demographics of students and the geographical representation that they represent as a team. We added bilingual staff to our committee, and I wanted to give a special shout out to Martha and Cindy in particular, and Maggie, who's not here. We're 3 staff members who help us have a fully bilingual meeting. Laura is also a member of our CCAC. Thank you for being here tonight. And we do sequential interpretation in our meeting. Everything that's spoken in Spanish is spoken in English and vice versa. We also added student advisors per the recommendation of the committee and they've added a great perspective to our decision making and to the advice that the CCAC brings to the board. So we intend to continue doing those things with the next year's team. And we intend to recruit students based on their career aspirations to be involved. So future educators or public servants in our high schools we feel like we'll get a good experience out of an internship, essentially serving on the CCAC. So that's a new spin for next year. And I'm interested in feedback that the board might have about how to advertise creative ideas you have for getting folks involved in the Citizens Curriculum Committee next year. The committee last meeting did have some ideas about how to approach parent organizations at each school and go with a kind of multimedia blitz out of our website and school websites. Anything you have for advice would be valued. The recommendation is that you direct me as secretary to the committee to go ahead this summer with the plan to advertise and get those applications to you in the fall.
Questions? Monty? Cool.
That's what I am. That's what I am today. I wanted to add that I just confirmed with Mike that some of our BSAT members, the Board Superintendent Advisory Team, I think some of those are, you pointed out, were juniors that will be, they may look for other opportunities to serve within the district to get some insight. And also, I think, did we just say this, that I think that we said this at the budget meeting, is to make sure that one of the voices that we feel like we're missing at the budget committee level was a student voice. Did we say that just a moment ago and I missed it? Or because we said it at the budget meeting, and I just think that if there could be an opportunity where we could share those types of experiences for students to join the budget committee.
We did talk about that, yeah. And we have, Michelle and I have been mentoring some, we call that interning with some students in the business office, and we will be approaching those kids. Yeah.
I think they did a lot of the background work and investigative stuff. So it would be excellent to be able to offer them opportunity to, to serve on a budget committee because their insight is one of our major stakeholders. So, so I was thinking of BSAT, and I was thinking of, even looking at the YAC committee that are Hillsboro students that serve at the city level, that perhaps it could be something that some of their members want to serve either on budget or citizens curriculum. So.
Thank you.
Eric?
So I just wanted to mention, you mentioned, Travis, that you're going to be authorized to advertise this on your own. So it seems like we're treating the budget committee publicity and the curriculum committee publicity as two totally separate things. It seems like you, Adam, and Beth should be getting together and doing a unified plan to publicize committee vacancies. Otherwise, you might be at odds with each other and get confusing with the public.
Any other comments? That was exactly my thoughts in the middle of the discussion here, making sure that the notes that were being taken be equally applied. Yeah. Give out to this and other committee opportunities. We would extend this conversation to the other activities that we know are going on this summer with the athletic or the what's the
activities and athletics committee.
Extracurricular activity will be there. I imagine there will be a committee work for advanced coursework. All those should be
on committee.
On committee. All those. We actually really need to think well about how to engage community members in each of those in a timely manner.
I think that's coming up maybe in July at the retreat. Val and Mike can talk to me about maybe coming with a proposal about how we get student advisors on those committees and which would be appropriate.
It is on the retreat agenda.
Just to talk about it.
Okay. Any other comments on the? All right, we will move on. Thank you, Travis. Thanks. Next up, we have Adam, financial report.
So the financial report is included in your packet. Did want to highlight a few things. June, like everybody else, is a very busy time for the business office. Today ran the second of our 4 payrolls that we run in the month of June. We have a new benefits coordinator. Let's see, what other exciting things? The end of and we just had auditors in for a week. Very busy time preparing for the end of this current year and getting ready for the start of the new one. So I'm happy to answer questions about any of the information included in here.
Eric?
I just had a quick question. I forget if we've discussed this before in our meetings, but what's the deal with the huge surge in student accidents this year compared to the previous years?
Talked about this earlier in the school year. We've gone to an automated system for reporting student accidents, and our new risk manager, Leah McCarthy, has been meeting regularly with building level staff to encourage them to use the new system that we have in place. So I don't have the feeling that there's a lot more accidents. We're just doing a better job of tracking them and reporting them. So.
Has that led to particular consequences? Does it reflect, I don't know, in insurance rates, or does it
Not
reflect,
yet. No, we won't see
better tracking to make sure that kids are doing
what,
I mean,
yeah, what we'll be
what are
doing,
those
and Lee and I will be sitting down later on in June once school's out. But we'll be looking at this information. One of the things that the software allows us to do is to categorize the types of incidents that we're seeing, try to develop trends, times a year, areas in buildings, types of classrooms where we're seeing incidents so that we can focus our training on. So that's what we'll be doing. I don't anticipate any increase in insurance rates or anything as a result of this. We'll just be able to do, in fact, I think in the long run, we'll be able to lower those because we're better able to track where and when those are happening.
Yeah, you may be able to better see the severity levels that increased, but increase of low severity follow-up.
That's the goal.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Adam on his report? Okay, thank you. Next up, I would look for a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve our consent agenda.
Second. Motion made by Glenn and seconded by Eric to approve our consent agenda. Are questions and comments?
I just wanted to comment, and I apologize I can't scroll fast enough, but just to pay attention again when you look at, I looked at it before and I can't find it now, but it was the donations part.
Yeah.
You know, this is, these again highlight amazing partners within our district that really value that partnership in our education. Not only I noticed Intel on there, I noticed there was a dentist, Pacifico
Dental.
Yeah, who supported with Chromebooks. There was parent groups on there, as well as Hillsboro Schools Foundation, and their $10,000 donation for science STEM kits. So again, it's significant and it's appreciated, and I just think that I just wanted to highlight it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions on the consent agenda, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are to our action items for the evening. And first up, we'll have Alan. Adopting resolution to adopt the 2016-17 budget.
So as our chairman mentioned, the budget committee approved the budget back on May 5th. The next step in this process then is for the budget to come to the board for adoption. And what you have in front of you tonight is 3 separate resolutions. The first one to impose the taxes for the general fund and to categorize the levy. And that's kind of a big overall number. That's a $295 million budget that we're adopting. The second of the resolutions appropriates that money. So it breaks that $295 million down into separate funds. So the general fund, special revenue fund, debt service fund, capital projects fund, and a reserve fund. And then further categorizes those fund totals by function. So instruction, support services, enterprise services. So you'll see the entire $203 million of the general fund appropriation. In addition, there is the unappropriated ending fund balance that's over in the total unappropriated area. And altogether, we're appropriating $295 million. We're appropriating $279 million of the $295 million. And then finally, categorizing the taxes, $4.97 per thousand of assessed value for the general fund, and $32,600,000 for payment of our bonded debt. So that's your task for me.
Very good. And so I would be looking for a motion, and we've been kindly given the appropriate wording, highlighted in yellow, or...
So,
No, that's actually, is that?
just a clarifying question on that, which is what my thing was. Is it, because we had kind of our cheat sheet here, if we do this one that's highlighted in yellow, the intention was that's for all three, so we only have to say the one statement?
Okay.
That's how we've done it.
Okay,
the last
perfect, that's
couple
all I
of
wanted
years,
to know.
That's why Val is prepped so that we can make the proper motion.
Okay,
And so I would be looking for a motion.
so then I will make the motion that the board of directors adopt the resolutions to adopt the 2016-17 budget, appropriate the 2016-17 budget, and impose 2016-17 taxes and categorize the levy as shown.
Second?
Okay, the motion has been made by Glenn and seconded by Janine to approve the resolutions as stated. Any questions or comments? Janine?
I just wanted to reiterate and say how much I enjoyed the budget process as far as having the community members. I think it's very insightful for them as well to be able to have that time to be able to, I think it's amazing that you don't just start right before you're looking for an approval and whatnot. This is an all-year process, so as projections come forth, you're giving that information to budget, giving those reports to the budget committee members, and I think that everyone involved really appreciates that, and I think the community appreciates any updates that they're able to see as we go along. It's very transparent. So I also wanted to mention that in the other hat that I wear working in a small business, it's interesting when we work a lot with education, schools and whatnot, that so many of the school boards still work on every month. Their school board approves certain the checks and whatnot being processed and put through. And it amazes me because while I think that you still, every month, we have the opportunity to look at things and question where we see numbers. Every month, they're looking at this mass group and they're saying, approve, all the checks. So, and it actually forces a lot of organizations to go past due because you wait 30 days for boards to meet and so on and so forth. So I think it's a very efficient means of business, and I'm sure that many businesses vendors that do business with our district appreciate the timeliness of payment because of the system set up, and so I wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Any further? Monty?
Well, after the stellar report that Ted Zaire gave to us in the work session, I feel it's incumbent upon me to make a motion that we increase $200,000 the 2016-17 expenditures for extracurricular activities and reduce $140,000 in revenues by cutting the district's pay-to-play fees for activities. That's a motion.
Motion has been made.
So the motion to amend the
Yes.
original motion?
Is there a second? Okay, as I understand it, seeing no second, the motion fails. And other further questions or comments? Go ahead, Glenn.
So, Monty, I just wanted to address that. I appreciate you doing that, I really do. I know that we discussed that at length at the budget committee, and it was a close vote, and I appreciated that discussion. I think the guidance that we all accepted at the time unanimously was when we said we would do the thing, adopt and put forward the budget, was that the board would take seriously this request for the future. So, there are big swings that are possible in our revenue next year. And I definitely want to honor what you're saying because I agree with it, but I think it's too late in the process. So that's the only reason why I'm not seconding it, going forward with it. Well, I appreciate you doing it, but I couldn't do it in good conscience against the will of the budget committee. But I'm very sensitive to that. There are a lot of great ways we can spend the budget, but that's just the way I went that direction. Thank you for putting it forward.
Janine?
I would also add, again, I appreciate your passion for these causes, Monty, and going forward, that you are very steadfast in your beliefs and in making that happen. I would also say that I think the budget committee members also were very concerned about, I think it was a very thoughtful conversation, and just making sure that they didn't feel like there was enough information there to make that adjustment, because where else, they could also possibly would have to look at other areas, and they didn't feel right and just in their quick decision. So,
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? We have a motion on the table, properly made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay. Those in favor of adopting the resolutions to budget, appropriate, and impose the taxes and categorize the tax levy as designated in the documents, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. And next up, we have Debbie with the approved compensation for non-union employees.
Good evening. At the April 26th board work session, I presented a proposal for compensation for our non-union employees. That proposal was for a 2-year agreement, and it would run from 2016 to 2018 with a financial package that would pretty much mirror what we bargained with our licensed employees. In addition to that, there was some proposed language for the administrative group that would allow an extension of the tuition to be used for books and for other kinds of fees. And I know the board had some conversation about that around equity with the employee groups. And as I had indicated, that the other two employee groups, are classified employees and licensed employees, do not have the ability to have those fees, the tuition applied to those fees. And so as a result, we've taken that language out, that proposed language. I think it's something that we want to look at down the road for all of our employee groups. Fees have increased so tremendously with the universities and colleges that it would be nice for us to be able to eventually offer to let our employees use that tuition reimbursement as it's available for those fees. But for now, we've removed it from the proposal. So the proposal that is before you tonight is a 2-year agreement for both of our non-union groups. And the financial packages for the first year, 3% COLA, all eligible employees would receive a step and a $25 increase to the insurance cap. And then year 2 of the agreement, 17-18 would be a 3% COLA, all eligible employees would receive a step, and again, a $25 increase on the insurance cap. So that's the proposal that's before the board tonight.
Can you remind me, we discussed this in the budget committee meeting, and I don't remember, so why did we take that out for the professional development?
The language that we proposed, because the language would allow the administrators and the administrative group to use tuition reimbursement in a different way that we allow to be used for our classified and licensed employees. And I know that the board said, when you look at equity across employee groups, there was a question about that no other employee group is able to do that. And so we decided to remove it and take a further look at it and see kind of long-term how we could make that available to all of our employees.
I remember now.
Okay, looking for a motion.
I move that we approve the 2016-2018 individual contracts with executive management, administrators, confidential, and supervisory technical employees.
Second?
Motion is made by Kim and seconded by Janine to approve the compensation for non-union employees as designated. Any further discussion, questions, or comments? With that, there was.
My button. I just wanted to say I appreciate, again, this was a thoughtful conversation that we all had. I appreciate the direction that it went in, and I appreciate the fact that working towards these levels do help us remain competitive within surrounding districts, and working towards that. So I just want to say thank you for all your work.
Okay, with that, all those in favor of approval of the motion, approval of the motion,
I second that emotion.
approval of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So for this, I get a drink of water first.
Is it about robots? What are we doing? No?
Okay, next item on our agenda is the review of the superintendent's performance and approval of the performance evaluation. It's my opportunity now, I think, to read comments before or after the reading. Val, let's do traditional.
Well, gee, I've only seen a couple of these, but I'm thinking the reading first so people can comment on what you read.
Okay, that sounds good. So it's my opportunity to read into the record in its entirety.
And we have received clarification that you don't have to if you don't want to read the whole entire thing, since it is in the packet. It's up to you.
Oh.
I don't have to.
You can read like the final 2 paragraphs or something.
I don't know, I think you read all the best parts.
Yeah, did you just read where Mike had?
Now that I've built the suspense, I feel compelled to read the letter. In the spirit of full transparency, in case nobody wants to page through the 100 pages of board document. So with that, I will read the letter that we prepared as a board, collectively reviewed and delivered to Superintendent Scott. Dear Superintendent Scott, the Hillsboro School District Board of Directors has completed your evaluation for 2015-16. According to policy CBG evaluation of the superintendent, this year's standards-based model included 360-degree feedback from selected district and community stakeholders, a board survey, and a self-evaluation that examined your leadership and operational performance. In your 7th year as superintendent, you continue to be an excellent, respected leader throughout our district and community. You are evaluated on 8 standards for superintendent performance. 1, leadership and culture. 2, policy and governance. 3, communication and community relations. 4, organizational management. 5, facilities and technology management and planning. 6, instructional leadership. 7, human resource management. And 8, values and ethics of leadership. The board used a 4-point rating scale with the following descriptive terms: exceeding, proficient, developing, and does not meet. As your performance has improved, the board's expectations have also increased. Overall, the board's view of your performance is between proficient and exceeding on every standard. You ranked highest in 3 standards: policy and governance, communication and community relations, and values and ethics of leadership. As the superintendent of Hillsboro School District, you have demonstrated strong and effective leadership, successfully navigating a variety of district challenges, developing strong community ties, and establishing good working relationships with district staff. You clearly demonstrated your ability to grow and adapt, to be flexible, to be responsive and flexible as situations evolve, and to maintain a positive working environment. We admire the focus of your Future Leaders program and to grow and develop the crucial skills of our own district teachers and staff. With heavier than expected staff turnover this year, developing staff leadership has been more important than ever. The board recommends that you renew your efforts to grow and mentor senior cabinet members, particularly those filling new roles, to help them become expert and effective in their new domains. We appreciate your continued commitment to developing our school administrators through training programs such as the Principal Academic Conferences and Principal English Language Learner ELL Monitoring Conferences, and maintaining the focus on individual school improvement plans, which help establish a common culture of high expectations and personal accountability in achieving improved outcomes for all students. We are particularly impressed with your engagement of the district in a comprehensive accreditation process, leading HSD to become the first school district in Oregon to receive full systems accreditation. This process provides district staff with unique insights and an international benchmark for our systems, facilitating a meaningful process of continuous improvement over coming years. Policy and governance is a highlighted area of strength for you. You are an outstanding resource for board members, keeping us informed through regular one-on-ones, weekly updates, and effective board agenda topics. You and your cabinet are open and helpful, providing information to assist new board members as they transition into their roles, and gathering information that is essential for board discussions and for handling challenging topics, such as your extremely effective boundary adjustment process. You are also a highly respected leader in our community and have developed deep positive relationships with city, county, and state legislative teams. These relationships directly benefit the district by developing new partnerships, improving funding opportunities, and opening doorways for new educational initiatives like a new STEM CTE Education Center, Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, Career Technical Education. The board recommends that you develop an even stronger voice for public education in Oregon, refining your message to the legislature on unfunded mandates. You have a strong and respected voice in your community. We encourage you to use it more. Communication and community relations is another area of strength for you. You are a gifted speaker with a unique ability to connect with an audience and convey your vision through personal examples. Your ability to connect with any group of people, to show them that you understand them and care about their concerns, and to follow through on their issues is one of your strongest leadership attributes. We recognize your increased efforts this year to engage with community in new ways. For example, by initiating a student advisory council, expanding public coffee chat offerings to both our English and Spanish-speaking community members, and through the Hillsboro School Summit, online surveys, and many others. We also commend you for the district's outstanding budget process, which engages community members early in meaningful, transparent discussions of their values around education. Building these relationships and communication channels will be critical in coming years as you proceed with implementation of the new HSD strategic plan. While you continue to foster these external relationships, the board recommends that you also reinvest in our internal communication efforts. With recent significant changes in school administrators across the district, please renew direct feedback channels between you and our district teachers and staff, which will help you provide appropriate guidance to new administrators. Regular, timely feedback is the best way to eliminate or minimize surprises. Your ongoing support of our organizational, facilities, and safety planning have been fundamental in ensuring a safe and effective learning environment. Proactive and thoughtful facilities planning combined with regional demographic studies have allowed the district to plan for facilities growth in a way that will serve students best and save the district and taxpayers millions of dollars. Through a boundary realignment effort this year, you and your team have continued your impressive work in providing a safe and welcoming educational environment. A detailed long-range facilities planning effort has identified and prioritized necessary building safety improvements. Engagement with community partners led to another remarkably successful parent reunification drill, helping prepare district and community first responders for handling large-scale emergencies. Implementation of technology infrastructure improvements across all district facilities lays the groundwork for implementation of our district technology and education vision. In the area of instructional leadership, you have many initiatives to highlight and be proud of. College and career pathways work is advancing, with leadership teams effective at all levels of the district. Avid work is expanding. The number of student internship opportunities has increased. We have our first cohort of bilingual SEAL graduates coming from Hillsboro High School this year. Elementary STEM-focused schools have increased to 6 schools this year. A focus on individual school improvement plans helps to ensure measurable continuous improvement at all grade levels. Katama Elementary School received White House recognition for STEAM programming, and McKinney Elementary School earned a Title I School of Distinction Award. Next Generation Science Standards curriculum is being reviewed by our Citizens Curriculum Advisory Committee for our next round of district curriculum adoptions. There is much to be proud of this year. However, we must also acknowledge that the district has faced a series of challenging issues that need to be resolved. The technology-rich high school math curriculum rollout has hit snags that must be addressed. A positive attempt to raise the bar of curriculum standards for all students led to a removal of advanced coursework options without a clearly communicated plan on how to serve the needs of all students simultaneously in one classroom with our current large class sizes. This resulted in confusion and frustration of students, parents, and the community. This is an unfortunate example of how very difficult it is to gain community trust and how very vulnerable that trust is. The board recommends that you continue your outstanding work in instructional leadership, but build up a formal process to ensure alignment of educational initiatives with our community's core values. Mike, you're a man of highest integrity, compassion, and character. You have earned the respect of all who work with you. Consistent feedback from administrators, staff, and community leaders declares you to be an impeccable advocate for our students. We appreciate your vision for providing the best education to each and every one of our students. It is critical that we continue to ensure fair and equitable access for the educational successes of all students. You have driven the development of the Hillsboro School District's new 5-year strategic plan. The board recommends that you ensure that the plan is specific, actionable, and measurable, and that you effectively articulate it so that all stakeholders can invest in our shared vision. We are proud to be HSD. We thank you for your consistent leadership and dedication to engage and challenge all learners to ensure academic excellence. Sincerely, Board Chair, myself, Wayne Clift, Glenn Miller, Vice Chair, Monty Akers, Lisa Allen, Eric Zellerman, Janine Solomon, and Kim Strelch. With that, I would look for a motion to approve to approve the superintendent's performance evaluation.
I move that we approve the 2016-2017 individual contract with the superintendent.
That's the next agenda.
No, C, item C.
Sorry. So which one, is it a motion to approve the letter first? Sorry. I recommend that, make a motion that we commend the superintendent for his leadership of our school district and direct the evaluation letter to be placed in his personnel file.
Second.
Sorry, I was cutting to the chase.
So the motion made by Kim and seconded by Janine to approve the superintendent performance evaluation with all the gratitude that we have had this year with your work. It's been properly made and seconded. Any questions, comments? Now would be a good time.
It's working.
Janine, doesn't help you remember anymore.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate it. I think it was an extremely thoughtful process that we sought community, we sought staff members, and our board all came together for making sure that there was this 360 evaluation and looking at everything. I wanted to say that, Mike, that in my 7 years of being on this board, I feel very fortunate that you are the superintendent here in Hillsboro. I do think that Tim said it correctly. I think he said that you have an amazing integrity and heart. And I think that every year, if you look back on every single letter, it talks of that. And I think that speaks of your character. And people, when they can trust the character of a person and they know there's good intentions and they know the work that the person is working, there is a general respect and a trust for the work that's being done. So I thank you very much for your dedication to this district. And I do think that you have the most amazing ability to share stories and how you relate your stories to your own personal circumstances. Don't even tell us if you make some of that stuff up. That would like totally ruin it for me. But I just want to, it amazes anybody who's in an audience that can listen to that. And I just, I think you have a heart full.
See no other comments? All of those in favor of approving the superintendent evaluation, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate your work.
Can I make another motion now? Now, Mike?
You may make another motion.
I move that we approve the 2016-17 individual contract with the superintendent with a 1-year extension through June 30, 2019.
And I will happily second that.
Motion is made by Kim and seconded by Glenn to approve the extension of the superintendent's contract, which you have in your possession in the superintendent contracts documents. It's not public until we approve it. And given the timeline, it is not in the board packet for those two reasons. But everybody everybody has had it, been able to review it, the changes made. Any questions?
Eric wants to speak.
I can't
It's me.
remember which Eric is.
Monty.
Monty, please.
Just a clarifying question, the work we're doing with Brian Hungerford, how does that?
So this contract represents the completion of the work with Brian Hungerford. I'm happy to talk about it. This is the time the contract is talked about in open session.
Well, I thought he was going to come back with some kind of proposal for...
So that is the, he did.
Oh,
In fact, the paperwork that he returned, he and I met, discussed the details of the contract. We worked with Mike on his feelings toward how to direct it. And I can share, I have paper copy here if you'd like to know how we came up with the particular numbers. The numbers were, the direction was based on a total compensation that put his compensation in line with the appropriate indicator schools, both above us and below us. That was completed as part of the contract. And also, I had Brian put together the summary sheet that shows the 2016 current contract versus the new contract, so it would be clear how the actual contract financial differences were calculated. And all this was done based on Brian's.
But were we talking about an incentive clause that he was
So,
going to research?
right, so he came in, we discussed those, given there were actually a couple of points. One was a performance bonus style. Based on our discussions at the meeting, I had been a principal proponent of investigating it, and he did bring back, and to that meeting, kind of an indicator of one of the districts that had attempted something like that. It was fairly complicated and cumbersome, and my read of the sentiments of the board was that wasn't a strong value in terms of which elements to work out. And so I focused on the total compensation, left off that performance, as well as the other one that we discussed was a retention kind of a complement. It would be a way to make a portion of the contract value only be payable in subsequent years. Given the complexity of both of those and the lack of inclination during the board discussion towards that complexity, we focused instead on the total compensation and made sure that it was distributed appropriately and that resulted in a reasonable compensation package, which we then presented and worked with Mike on to an agreeable conclusion. So all of that, Brian Hungerford, our legal counsel involving contracts, helped, and it's actually authored the contracts we have before us based on all that direction.
I wanted to say thank you for taking that step to talk with Brian on that and to take all our conversations on where we went with that. And I respect how Wayne, you look at that with your lens as a group, as the representative of all of us. And I think I appreciate your balanced approach.
Okay.
Kim?
I'm just happy that we got to a place where not only for the superintendent, but for administrators and both of our employee groups, we got to start making up a little bit of ground. We have fallen quite behind in the Tri-County area, and it feels good having just approved the budget, which included those pieces for classified and licensed staff, but then to also be able to extend that to administrators and superintendent. Just a sigh of relief that we can step in the right direction. There's a way to make sure that no school district has a direct line to superintendent's office. That would be great, because We're not ready to share him with anybody yet.
Just don't read the fine print of your contract. I think I can put it in my files.
I just kind of wanted to echo what the other sentiments were. I'm very happy that we're able to do this. It's long overdue, extensions to bring the total compensation in line with districts around us. Mike does work very hard, and based on the evaluation we gave him, I think it's more than fair what we're doing. So I'm very happy we're finally able to get to a point where we get something, bring some parity where it needs to be.
I will just also add, I appreciated the opportunity to go through this process. One of the things that we all wrestle with as a board in that total compensation, focusing on total compensation, was that we be completely transparent with community on how that is. And in that vein, that was specifically why I directed Brian Hungerford to not only write the contract, but produce a summary document that that would be part of the record and available to view so that there was clarity in how we calculated compensation and how it was allotted. So I expected that these documents are part of that record and could be distributed for clarity to those that might submit the records requests. So, with that, we have a properly made motion. It's made by Kim, seconded by Glenn, to approve the extension of the superintendent contract. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
You can loosen your tie out.
Okay, next up, we have Beth. The approve the strategic plan.
Yes, so we have been talking quite a bit about our new strategic plan, and that process has been going on pretty much all year now. And last month when I came before you, just kind of reiterated the various efforts that have been undertaken to not only put the plan together, but also to solicit feedback, to incorporate that feedback, and to kind of continually provide opportunities to the board to weigh in on that. And what we have now is what I feel is a really great trio of documents that together create the strategic plan, and haven't received any questions in the last period of time since our last meeting. Did want to maybe proactively state that assuming that we have an approval tonight and that our strategic plan will go into effect July 1st, do plan to have some discussion about the new strategic plan at the board retreat in August, where we can talk a little bit more about how and in what manner you guys would like to receive updates on our progress toward the goals that have been outlined in the yearly action plan, and also whether or not there's a need for some kind of additional communication pieces that maybe distill down some of those elements in a really accessible one-pager, for example. I've heard that as a recommendation, so we can certainly talk about that at the August retreat, but if there's any other questions or concerns, obviously I would love to hear those now.
Okay, first off, thank you. This has been a long process. Your team's worked very hard. I've appreciated the thoughtfulness and the research that's gone into it, and frankly, the graphical art on these really cool brochures you're putting together. So thank you, job well done. I'm very happy that we're through this process and ready to actually adopt it.
Okay.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, I will be looking for a motion.
You want to do it? I move to approve the 2016 to 2021 strategic plan for the Hillsboro District.
Second.
Motion has been made by Kim and seconded by Janine to approve the strategic plan for 2016-2021 as described. Any comments?
I know the hard work that has gone into this, and I speak from 30 years of evaluating strategic plans and business plans. I still have a problem with it in that we don't have a destination. There's not a destination stated here as far as a vision as where we're going to be in 5 years. So I'll be voting against it. But that doesn't diminish the work that's gone into it. I appreciate the work that's gone into it. But I think to be a plan, we need a destination from A to Z. So that's why I'm voting against it.
I wanted to say that the countless hours, thank you, the countless hours that we had in group discussion, in seeking information from outside, from folks that have worked on this before. Thank you. I hear what Monty's saying, and I think one of our ultimate destinations, I think, is at graduation. Most of us experienced watching that happen for 6 of our graduating seniors, and to be able to really concentrate on how we can improve those numbers is a sweet destination. So, and I also thank you for not only looking at efficiencies for our own time as far as what we want in how that is going to be accountable, measurable, and reported back, so that, but also for your own time. There's time that's placed on burden on so many folks, to be able to really know what it is, what are you asking for, how do you want to see it, so that you best know how to use your time to efficiently report that. But also so that we can, if the answers are there, then it can avoid so many questionable, because that's the angle in which we have decided to, not the angle, that's how we decided to report those collectively. So thank you for having that, presenting and having that at the retreat for further discussion.
Mike.
So Monty, when we talked about the kind of the one-page vision piece, and that's what Beth was alluding to when she was talking about the one-pager and getting that together and just getting a kind of an executive summary, that actually would be the vision. But as we talked about it, we didn't feel like we could do that until we have our retreat with the board in August, because that will allow us to define when, if we go out for a bond, if we go out for a local option, and that would help us chart our course for the next 5 years. So that's what the thinking was around that. That one-pager is intended to be the vision or the destination. So we just didn't feel like we could accurately put that together until we have that discussion.
I wanted to take a minute to and reflect a lot of the comments that were said. I've been a member of the various evaluation process committees that we've had over several years. First in formalizing the process for evaluating the superintendent. This year formalizing the process for our own board evaluation, which is ongoing. And as a third leg to that evaluation stool, we've talked about the need for board oversight in an official evaluation of district performance, which has been of interest to Monty and to all of us, I believe. And that's up to us now to make that a reality. We have the strategic plan, which sets the groundwork for the direction to go, and we need to establish from that the criteria that we will be holding the district to responsible for the coming year, on which we can measure them, so that next year we're not putting that third leg of the evaluation process off. We will be using the strategic plan with the criteria that we determine as an official evaluation process for the district next year. So with that, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to adopt the district the district strategic plan 2016 to 21, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Nay.
Let it hang there. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for the hard work for putting that together. Next, Adam.
Earlier at the work session, we had a report from Frank Angelo regarding the facilities plan that the Long Range Planning Committee and the Angelo Group have prepared. Frank briefly went over kind of the components of that facilities plan. You've had a chance to look at the entire document, and review the recommendations that were included. So at this point, we're hoping to have that document approved, and that will become the basis then for the planning that we do over the summer and on into next school year.
I move we adopt the district's long-range facility plan as presented.
And I will second that.
Motion made by Monty and seconded by Glenn to approve the district long-range facility plan. Questions or comments? Janine?
Can you just reiterate for the folks that are in the audience that who is on the who makes up the long-range committee?
Who's on the planning committee? Well, two of
You
them
don't
are
have to
right
be
here.
specific, but I mean,
We've got
what organizations?
Yeah, we've got representatives from the board. Thank you, the two gentlemen who just moved to have this approved. We have representatives, we have staff, so facilities staff, communications staff, business office staff. Then we have representatives from the city of Hillsboro, city of Cornelius, city of North Plains, Washington County. We have an architect who sits on the committee.
Real estate.
Ed Hagener, realtor.
We also have a regular citizen too.
Yes, Matt Buckingham is a community member. We've had other community members who've cycled in and out, but Matt's been on there since before I have been, so yeah. It's very well representative of all the folks who are involved in the development around our district.
And the full plan is in the packet for folks.
It's in the packet, it's on the website. It's a little buried right now because we wanted to have the link out there, but until it was approved, we're not going to make a big deal out of it. But once it's approved, we'll make sure it's got a prominent place.
Comes to the surface.
Yeah.
Any other questions by Glenn?
Yeah. So just first off, to extend one of the comments that I had made a little bit earlier in the work session, I am strongly an advocate that we will be needing the high series numbers, not the median ones, based on my attending, reading and being involved with the city planners and all those other things. So I'm firmly of the opinion, and we'll see the data will bear us out one way or the other, that we will need that third elementary school within the 10 years versus just the 2. That was the recommendation. But we've got that covered in the recommendations anyway, so it's not a big deal, it's just a point. That's my prediction, is that it will grow faster than our numbers say, the middle series of the numbers say anyway. The second thing I wanted to address too regarding this was, and maybe I think I'm still on the right point, our 150 million in backlog and stuff, there actually is some pretty strong hundreds of pages of documentation about those that are available on the website as well. You guys did a stellar job of putting together a giant spreadsheet, links they clicked, to detailed reports with all the pictures and everything. So there's a huge amount of back work that was literally months of work and thousands of hours, I think, of research, or at least hundreds anyway, into this thing. So there's way more information than any sane person would ever want to know about this. But a lot of stuff, except maybe you.
Monty loves it.
Well, this is true too, and I guess I have to put myself in that one as well. I guess we'll just say we're nerds that way. So, but anyway, so thank you for all the work that went on.
Yeah, I'd just like the record to show that I think this is one of our highly effective, highly functional committees, and I give all that credit, not because we're on it, but because I give the credit to Adam and Michelle, because these are staff people from all the jurisdictions that we interrelate with, and it's tough to get them to show up. It's tough for them to bring their reports and spill their guts basically as to what they're doing, and it's tough to sustain that committee, and I think it all goes to the credit of Adam and Michelle.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Jenny?
I think it's a really a very diverse group of folks that are coming together that are looking at this, and I know that it's Portland State that
they did the enrollment projection.
They did the enrollment projections, so it will be interesting to be able to follow that. But I think as Frank pointed out, that this is a very serious projection to be able to look forward to really make some solid plans. for a district. And so it will be interesting to see as we go along to see, where.
Well, and it's not meant to be a one-time document that
Right.
we prepare for a bond
Right.
issue. It's meant to be a living,
Right.
breathing thing that we maintain, so.
Yeah, it's kind of has, you can have a base, but there's moving situations. But that's why there's such a diverse group that's put together in this, as I think Monty pointed out in the earlier meeting, where you have these city groups that are there, they're telling you real-time information as to what's going on in their North Plains or Cornelius area. So,
Good. Any other comments? Okay, motion properly made by Monty, seconded by Glenn to approve the district long-range facility plan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
you didn't say nay.
I said say nay.
Oh. I was like, where'd that come from?
So it was unanimous.
It was unanimous, there was no
Okay.
mistake there, right?
Okay. I just wanted to
Instructed,
clarify.
and I did it specifically because I failed to do it the last time when Monty was doing a bad time.
I'm sorry.
Voting, anyway, can't satisfy everybody. Okay, final action item for the evening. We have the opportunity to approve the 2016-17 board meeting dates. It has my name on it. I don't intend to rehearse to you the dates that you've seen in the packet. Are there, well, I guess I would look for a motion and then we can discuss if there's any questions.
I move that we approve the board meeting dates for the 2016-2017 school year.
Second.
Motion made by Kim and seconded by Janine to approve the 2016-17 board meeting dates. Any discussion? Been available for a while. Let's see, any issues, conflicts?
And only to ask that we have a one-day retreat, which happens somewhere within the district, usually retreats either here or the library or something. It's nothing fancy, but I just worry there is so much that goes into that day. That's a lot to, I just only hope that we can.
Bring your energy bars.
Bring it. Just bring it.
Very good.
If we don't get through everything, we can always go to a second day.
I like it.
In the spirit of moving us along without going into a second day, the instructed should be my platform for running for board chair next time. I am shooting Eric for getting us out much earlier than our designated time. All those who, now I've lost the mojo here. All those who can approve the motion made to approve the board meeting dates, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Say what?
Trying. Motion carries. That's what's important.
We're going to interrupt me.
You can imagine how this board gets at midnight.
No, you can't.
It's on. Excellent. Okay, so with end of our action items, we have wrapping up the evening. First up, the HCU, HCA.
So as we're coming to the end of the school year and into summer, it's a great time for reflection, thinking about the past year. It's really hard to see or to really understand what you're dealing with or what the actions you've taken and the impact they have while you're in the fight and while you're in the middle of it. I had the opportunity to meet with other union leaders from across the state last week, and it really gave me some perspective of what we have in Oregon, what we have that's special here in Hillsboro. We have, a community that supports the schools. We have a school board that is sane and has that has a board chair who helps. I'm serious. That like meetings are cordial. Meetings are run really well in comparison to other areas. Everyone on this board is very respectful to each other, even when you completely disagree with their point of view. And I find that really refreshing in a lot of the circles I run in when you run into those radicals out there who you don't believe they do, they immediately think you're a horrible person. And that's not what we have in this district, and that's not what we have in this state, which I really appreciate. As we move forward into the next school year, I really encourage anyone in a leadership position to really think about leadership. Look, go to the business section of PALS and go find some books on leadership and how to, talk to, if you're a school principal or a vice principal and you manage staff, talk to HR, make sure you understand what the collective bargaining agreements have in it. There's been not a lot of changes, but there's been some significant changes that people need to know about. And I will tell you, one of the best ways to piss off your employees is to do something that's an obvious violation of a bargaining agreement. It frustrates everybody, everyone's hair sort of stands on end, and then we get to have a really tough conversation. And I'm just saying, save yourself the headache and the trauma, read the collective bargaining agreement. A lot of people, a lot of work on both management side and the classified side to get a really good agreement, and I'm really appreciative of the work that all of them have done, and I really hope that principals show the same respect that everyone else has to that group by reading the contract. So, thank you.
The presentation of the long-range facility plan tonight gave good information about the physical buildings, and that appreciated it, and it's kind of exciting to think about that. But as we wrap up the school year, I want to honor the educators, families, and community, the partners who collaboratively interact within those physical spaces and make them more than just school buildings, but centers enabling success for our students. I especially want to acknowledge building staff members, including my HEA members, who constantly rethink strategies to engage our students in learning, in building character, and in becoming the citizens who will achieve a fair and satisfying community wherever they ultimately settle. It's always an honor to work with the Hillsboro School District employees, more so because this is a place in which we can and do freely debate the framing of our education system. We give our attention to the sometimes surprising changes to which we are either continuously adapting or pressing to change to something that we see as better. We focus on student enrichment opportunities and the optimal conditions for learning, and we strive to create those conditions. We tend to focus on the assets over the deficits and support our students rather than labeling them. It's been an honor to interact with so many Hillsboro staff for the past 4 years, and I am looking forward to moving back into the classroom. 4th grade at Lennox. You're all welcome to drop by anytime, and Debbie Ashley, I expect you to be in there volunteering.
Okay.
Mike, you're up.
First of all, Maureen, thank you for your years of service. And, we appreciate the many conversations we've had, and your ability to look at all sides of an issue and to collaborate. We are very appreciative of that. So thank you for your years of service. All right, a couple things. First of all, to the board, thank you for the nice evaluation. That is an incredibly awkward process. If you're sitting here listening to that letter, that is incredibly awkward. But thank you for the nice comments and for the goal areas that you've established. Do know that I take those serious. I think if you look back at any of my evaluations, you'll see that when areas are brought up as an area of concern, you'll see that those are addressed immediately. So I look forward to addressing those, and I think they're all fair points. So finally, a couple different things. I'd like to appreciate the staff. As we wind down the end of the school year, it really is an incredibly long haul when it comes to a school year, and the staff members that work in the schools, and they just give countless time for our students, and for that we're just so appreciative, and thank them for all of their efforts. And the staff members that are here, just really appreciative. Just a number of the things that were mentioned tonight. Beth leading the charge on the strategic plan, and Adam on the long-range planning process, and Travis and Dale on the accreditation, and college and career pathways, and the SIP work, some of the stuff that was mentioned in the work session. But all of those pale in comparison. I want to spend my time talking about Debbie, since this is her last meeting. Usually I poke fun at people and do that kind of thing, but with Debbie, I just can't do that in public. What I would like to say about Debbie, she's worked for the Hillsboro School District for the last 10 years, and during all of that time, I think what would be said about her over and over again is that her integrity is just so above reproach. She's trusted by everyone she works with. She's an advisor and a mentor to many. A lot of people don't know it, but she was one of the founding members of the women's leadership group that we have, and that has just involved herself in mentoring many of our administrators. What you probably know about her is that she's incredibly thorough. She puts protocols in place for everything. She has processes, her attention to detail, and I think one of the things I've appreciated most about her is that she's visionary in her work in human resources. She's worked to improve efficiencies, and she's worked to put checks and balances in place, whether that be around hiring or investigations or making sure that our staffing is on target. And for all of those things and many more, we are very appreciative of your years of service, and we hope that you have an incredible retirement. And we do hope to see you around. I know your grandkids live in this right in this area, so I know we'll be seeing you around. And thank you for your years of service. We appreciate it.
So I want to thank you for the honor of serving the district for the last 10 years. It's been mixed blessings, and I'm leaving. So thank you. And I have soon to be 4 grandchildren in California too, so I will be on the road. 4 up here and 4 down there.
Because you'll be moving them up to Oregon?
They moved from here down to California, so not soon, but maybe. So thank you very much. It's been an honor to serve the district.
And wrapping this up, we have a board of directors time. Should we start with Eric?
Nothing to add, but have a short meeting after the last 2.
Sorry, I'm adding. I won't be that long though. It is a good time of year to reflect, and always honored to be able to participate in graduations, and it's so much fun, and getting to hand a diploma cover to a kid you've known since they were 2 or 3 or since kindergarten is just the best paycheck of this job. Thank you to all of our retirees. There are lots of them, but I will single out Mr. Carlisle, who spent a short stint of time at Jackson while I was there, and left a permanent lasting mark there on my children's hearts and on that building. And to Debbie, who was, I think, maybe my first friend when I got here. I remember Principal saying when I got elected to the board, you will have the privilege of working with Debbie now. Because when you were an active parent, that wasn't a person that you got to interact with. And it was very true, and I feel lucky that I got to work with you so closely over many years. And with that, I can't wait for school to be out. Summer to start.
I would also add its reflection. I just want to say that, as a year that we have seen a lot of long meetings, heavy topics and whatnot. I want to thank Val and Lori for all that they do for our board members, for helping us with information that we need to have readily available, to being here as an excellent support and keeping us on track when it comes to deadlines and whatnot. I thank you for that. Debbie, I almost feel like during the strategic plan discussion where we were talking about, okay, at the retreat, you'll have to tell us how you, and I almost saw like a little smirk. I don't have to do that anymore. But thank you. It was a pleasure to be involved and see the retirees function. You have teachers and staff members that have been in this position, whether they're with Hillsboro or 41 years doing, and so on and so forth. So whether whatever your years are, this job, it is heart and soul, and you put so much of your energy and so much of your dedication into that. So kudos to all those folks that are retiring with their hearts of gold for all that they have done. And, you know, summertime, when I reflect and I think about some of my friends that are teachers in classrooms and how they talk about, you know, 35 students in their classes, they can't, you know, this is something that Monday through Friday, they're there. Game on when those students walk through the door. It's really difficult to have a bad week and say, I'm gonna be in a horrible mood this whole week, because you have 35 students in your classroom that will eat you alive if you can't keep your game on and work towards all the things that they work towards to help support those students and families. And so this time for summertime to re-energize and be able to collect themselves and spend time with their family and recharge their engines is, I'm very much well-deserved. And graduation time, when you think about reflections and those students, yes. When you're able to hand those diplomas, and sometimes you have to play rock, paper, scissors for people saying, I really want to give that person their diploma. No, I do. I remember when I held them, and you know, so we have, you know, you have those discussions, but you know, it is something to be able to give have that student be able to walk across that stage and have that moment, and to be able to collect that after all those years of hard work, and the 6 graduations that the majority of us went through, and to see that and how each of them had just a different taste, a different flavor, a different excitement. So many stories behind that, and the things that they overcame. And just to have that moment, I think that is just a super highlight of a year. So it's a highlight.
Wow, how can I follow that? I just want to simply say thank you, Tim. The libraries won't be the same without you. I hope you come back and play Santa Claus for us again, too. That's a favorite thing I look forward to. And Maureen, thank you for serving in your position, and I look forward to having you back in the classroom. And of course, can't forget Debbie as well. We will miss you, but it's a well-earned time off. So anyway, and there's just so many people we can thank. It's been a great year. There have been some tough moments, but I do appreciate my colleagues for the most part, for our reasoned and not too overblown discussions that we've had. So I just always like to reiterate that even when we disagree, that process ultimately leads to a stronger decision. I truly believe that. So anyway, thank you very much. Look forward to the next year of service starting in 3 or 4 weeks as the beat goes on.
Very good.
I'm gratified that we fooled Devin, that he thinks we're sane. We've obviously fooled him. The other thing, Debbie, I'd like to thank you for your service. I think you're part of our negotiations this last year, brought a real professionalism to those negotiations and made it go a lot smoother than they could have gone. So thank you very much. The other thing, graduations, I think that's a culmination of all the district's employees. That's one of the big perks, or one of a few perks, I guess, of being on this board, that you get to see those graduates graduate. We don't do a whole lot directly with them, but I know the staff does, and I really appreciate all of our staff. And when you see those kids come up and graduate, it just makes it all worthwhile. The other thing, I had a question on our board accreditation. Did I miss a report? You know, the national accreditation?
This was it's coming in, it was district accreditation.
Did we get a report?
There's a final report will be approved by the Advanced Ed National Board in the second half of June, and then I'll bring the approved report in July's board meeting. I think it's part of one of our.
I thought I missed it, or is that the one?
We came for the special meeting on Thursday and received it early.
And they said we were going to get it in 2 weeks, and it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
I thought okay, thank you. That's all.
Very good. That was me. Thank you to everybody. One of the things I most enjoy about this work as I am about the community is volunteering and working with staff members and seeing all that they do at all levels, from the teachers to administrators that are coordinating and making sure things keep going, to our administrative staff here. It's just an honor and pleasure working and serving with all of you. It's been a great year. I appreciate everyone's work. Thank everyone for their service, Maureen, Tim, Debbie. Congratulations in your efforts in the future. Please let us all go out with, in the end of the school year with the joy of seeing success from our students in the graduations, and know that that's our core mission here, to produce these students that are prepared for the world. And it's been a pleasure working with you this year. With that, you're adjourned.